Okay, well, before moving forward, let's have a brief introduction with my group member as well. Rabia Mukhtiar will tell you about challenges faced by civil society in Pakistan. Sarah Gul will continue the same topic, linking it with the functioning and unspoken civil societies. After that, Mahnur Karim, Samra Shaheen, and Aruj Saibzada will discuss another topic related with the civil society. So let's move toward my topic. The content of my presentation include number first the concept of civil society. After that, I will tell you about the historical background of the concept of civil society. It will include Hegel concept, Marx and Marxist opinion, liberal theorist, modern concept. After that, I'll discuss needs and role of civil society. At last, I will tell you about the limitation of civil society. So, without wasting our time, let's move toward the concept of civil society. If we look at the original meaning of civil society, then it is meant as political community. More commonly, it is distinguished from the state. Political community like a society governed by law under state authority, while it is distinguished from the state. That is, the term is used to describe institutions that are private, in that they are independent from government and organized by individuals in pursuit of their own or particular interest. So, therefore, civil society in the real sense refers to a realm of autonomous groups and associations such as business, interest group, clubs, family, and so on. It is used to describe a sphere of human activities that is outside or apart from the structure of states and government. We will know more about the civil society if we look the background of the concept of civil society. So, the historical background tell that the word civil society is dynamic, like it's not static. It is ever evolving and changing. The term civil society was used interchangeably with political society and state. Before 18th century, the term was the combination of political society and state. But during the 18th century, when there was struggle for democracy was going on in Europe, then Hegel was the first philosopher who gave the dichotomous view of civil society. He contrasts civil society from state. It was his main contribution. According to him, state was holistic, like it works for whole, altruist, devoted for the welfare of others without need of anything, universal, like it is everywhere, and benevolent. It is kind, friendly, and helpful to others. And he give the concept of civil society in a kind of negative term, like it is organized, according to him, it is organized part of society which is sectional and particularistic, like it work for particular section and special devotion to particular interest. And he mainly used the term derogative, pejorative, divisive, these kind of words for civil society. After that, Marx gave his view. According to Marx, we know that Marx was against capitalist. He considered civil society as a tool of capitalism. And according to him, civil society was exploitative, subversive, and authoritarian. After that, the Marx believer who came after Marx, they are called neo-Marxist. Who they consider it as intermediary between state and market, like it is a link between state and market. Theorists are those who support the free market, limited government, capitalism, and secularism. So they define it from a bipartite perspective, like they tell that civil society is another thing and state is other thing. They include civil society, they include market plus counter civil society into the civil society, like they does not differentiate market from counter civil society. After that, the modern concept and the modern concept tell that civil society is an umbrella term, like it consists of many organized groups other than market, state, and counter civil society group. Like it include political parties and organization, NGOs, voluntary organization, public media, interest group, pressure group, so many and so other. So this is the ongoing concept of civil society. We have to remember, if I ask a question with myself that why there's a need of civil society in any environment or in a particular area, then two things came in my mind. The first thing is modern democratic state power domain, and the second one is market reform. Mm, we know that the modern democratic states have a lot of technology, surveillance, and control. In simply, they have a lot of powers. If the state use these powers properly, then there will be good governance. But sometimes the government authority holder misuse this power, which result injustice with minority or lower class citizens. Uh, while the upper class members or the elite class get their rights through their deep pocket or their powers, but this minority are the most sufferer. So when there is civil society, then this civil society will stand by their side who get suffered from the misuse of the authority holder, and they help them to snatch their rights from the state or the authority holder. So like it's the importance of civil society. This is what, because of civil society, a minority will get their rights. And also their market reform, like any penetration happen in market, so these civil society help to normal the market reforms. After that, the roles of civil society, the most and basic role of civil society as a vehicle of good governance, like civil society developed any state economically, politically, and culturally. We know different societies work in different part of the area. Some work against the misuse of state power. If they strengthen the state power, then it develop economically. If there is no any person who do corruption, then obviously the economically the state condition will be improved. After that, it provide emergence of new leaders. Like if new leaders came forward, then political condition of the environment will be improved. After that, it provides stability to the state. Like it bring diversity in the in the state, in the society, and it help people it create awareness among people. They accept each other thinking, belief, and religion. So like a kind of harmony will create among the people. After that, civil society bring transparency and openness. It's like against it work against corruption. uh, if we take an example of in any civil society in Pakistan, then Fixit is working nowadays about making sure the transparency and openness in government institution. And secondly, civil society helps making inclusion policy. Inclusion policies, like those policies help who help to give benefit to lower class family, like labor law. Labor law was because of civil society of labor it came forward. So like it help making inclusion policy. After that, it's help government to implement their own policy, like policy implementation of if we take an example of education, then it is the policy of government that the government has to educate their citizen. But if we take an example of AKESP, then it is helping the government to educate their nation, like helping the government to implement its policy. After that, it's also help in policy reforms. If we take an example of the green and clean Pakistan, it is because of the effort of the civil society of the people who are working for the environment, clean and green environment. So, lastly, civil society makes government sensitive. Like if there are stable and more free and independent civil society, then it will pressurize government uh, to work properly, to adopt its policies properly. After that, we discuss the limitation of civil society. As we as I talked earlier, that the world civil society is ever changing and evolving, like the conceptual limitation. Till now, the civil society has failed to distinguish itself from counter civil societies and terrorist groups. Like for some people, like for in-group people of a terrorist organization, they consider it as a civil society. Like for in-group people, they are civil society, but for the majority of, like the outside group, they are terrorist organization, they are counter civil society. We consider them, they are criminals. So like there is limitation in concept of civil society. After that, corruption and fraud in civil society itself. It is traditional that whenever any whenever in any organization there are a lot of monies, then misuse of power will be happen anywhere. So it is common. After that, instrument for neo imperialism, like it is the claim of communists who claim that it promote capitalism or globalization. Like the capitalist countries promote their views, their beliefs through NGOs in any state, in any country. After that, it becomes victim of inequality. Like in like any organization where after a few decades the organization become the patronage and kinship system. A single family run the whole organization. So like civil society of Pakistan is struggle for democracy and human rights is very vibrant. Like when Pakistan came into being, it faced a lot of problem. In 1947, it absorbed 8 million refugees. In 1948, it lost its main leader, Qaid Azam Muhammad Ali Jinnah. So like after that, in 19 for 9 years, it was not having its own constitution. After that, Ayub in 1965, it comes war with India, so many and so other. After that, the military rule. So like uh, different with different problems, the Pakistani society have encountered in extremist narratives. Like it helped reduce violence, it fostered a culture of peace and human right, it focused traditionally on human rights including labor, minorities and women rights, and on social development in rural areas. Now it is considered that approximately 100,000 NGOs are operating in Pakistan. They are the registered one, and there are a lot of other organizations who are not registered, were run by students like us. So now Rabia will tell you more about this.